Greetings and salutations, witches and friends. This is your girl Sage, aka Sage the Urban Witch, and I am on for a particular interesting reading today. This is going to be a celebrity reading, a slash tarot reading, slash channeled message reading on none other than Chrisean Rocks. Okay, but before I get into it, you guys, let me just make this disclaimer. Okay, this is for entertainment purposes only. Okay, I'm just a witch talking my shit. Okay, all right, so before we get into it, you guys, just a little bit of afterthought. Okay, because I usually don't do these type of readings on my main channel. Okay, I usually would do celebrity readings on my podcast. Okay, however, I was led by spirit to do this particular reading and to post it on my main channel because I believe that it needs to be seen by people, my fellow witches, high vibrational witches, and light workers out there, okay, and even readers, but also by the young lady herself. Okay, so I was led by spirit to do this reading, you guys, because in a nutshell, I see the setup. Okay, I'm not really too heavily deep into celebrity life and celebrity gossip or this or that. Okay, but I do have a certain affinity towards artists, towards creatives, because I myself am a creative, am an artist in my own right. Okay, and had a situation gone in a certain direction outside of spirit's guidance, I could have easily been in the shoes of this young lady or of a lot of people that are currently finding these very negative, toxic situations that they're currently in the entertainment, in the music industry. Okay, so I was led by spirit, you guys, to do this reading because, as I said before, I see the setup. Okay, I've been watching a little bit of the clips and documentaries on social media about Chrisean Rocks. Okay, and it has died down just a little bit, but every now and then something about her will pop up in my feed. Okay, and like I said before, you guys, I see the setup in terms of when there are very talented, gifted people in the music industry. Unfortunately, they can't see the forest for the trees because they're so far up in it. And they have a lot of people that are surrounding them, and these people are not their friends. These people do not have their best interests at heart. Okay, oftentimes these people are their handlers. Okay, these are wolves in sheep's clothing that a lot of these artists and entertainers are surrounded by. Okay, Chrisean Rocks is no exception. She is definitely surrounded by a lot of wolves in sheep's clothing. Okay, and so like I said, I see the setup in terms of when there is an orchestrated effort to take out a bright, beautiful soul, artistic, creative soul in the industry. One of the first things that they do, outside of alienating and isolating them away from people that have their best interests at heart, is to then begin to orchestrate this very massive smear campaign against the artists. Okay, to dismiss them as crazy, as mentally ill, as to objectify them as a very toxic, horrible person, where there's just one particular narrative. Okay, and that's that this person is bad, this person needs to be punished, okay, persecuted, unalived. Okay, is literally like it's something like a witch hunt, okay, in social media. And so I found it very interesting that all of a sudden, there was this barrage of, social media influencers that were, doing, documentaries and, YouTube videos about this young lady and how, she's just awful. She's a terrible mother. She's a this, she's a that. And it's almost as if, there was this great effort to spin the narrative about her, to sway public opinion about this young lady, about her motherhood, about her intentions, about her heart, her essence, her value as a woman, as an artist, and as someone in the industry. And I said, oh, I see it happening. Okay, this is step one, this is step two, this is step three. And particularly as this young lady is going through a serious spiritual battle with trying to, develop a more personal, closer relationship with the Most High, as she defines her creator to be. This is diametrically opposed or in opposition with the essence and the agenda of the Matrix Beast system, of which the industry is a part. So automatically they see her as public enemy number one. So again, I see the setup, and I'm hoping that, I know I'm a small, little bitty channel, okay? But I'm hoping that, I'm a firm believer. Your girl Sage is a firm believer that, whomever is meant to see the reading, they will see it. And so hopefully this young lady, Chrisean Rocks, will see this reading as well. This is a warning. Okay, so having said that, guys, I got my notes here. Okay, I had to take some notes, some bullet points as I was streaming and downloading, so that I could stay focused and I won't be all over the place. And I'm sure that I may venture off my notes a little bit as Spirit continues to channel through me for this particular reading. But just some notes, you guys, to keep me on point. Some things that I had jotted down about Chrisean Rocks and her life, a little bit about the vibration of her birth date, okay, the numbers, the birth date in terms of when she was born, on the day that she was born, and how that ties in with some life lessons that she's currently facing now as a young lady, as a mother, as a public figure in the industry, in the reality TV, as well as, in the music industry as a rapper, okay? So without further ado, you guys, let's get into it, okay? So, first thing, let's get into her birth date, okay? So Chrisean Rocks' date of birth is March 14th, 2000. This makes her a Pisces, okay? 25 years old. Now, Pisces is ruled by the planet of Neptune, which is all about illusions. It's about fantasies, dreams, and, idealism. And, coincidentally, there are a lot of artists who are Pisces, okay? I believe Erykah Badu is a Pisces as well, okay? But as far as Chrisean Rocks' date of birth, okay, her birth date of March 14th, okay, the 1 plus the 4, which equals a 5 representing conflict, okay? This suggests that as a part of Chrisean's life lessons, she will have to work on seeing life, her relationships, and situations as they truly are, and not as she wants them to be, okay? Again, battling against the fantasy versus reality, the what is versus what I want it to be, okay? So yeah, there's this type of, fantasy versus reality, or fantasy versus the illusion type of trope or challenge that Chrisean must deal with and overcome. Because unfortunately, you guys, this type of challenge is going to consistently show up in Chrisean's relationships and in her life as a public figure, okay? Particularly where the industry as a whole, and also with certain individuals, in particular, those who have targeted Chrisean, and they see her as naive and gullible, okay? They see this young, beautiful woman as someone who is able to be taken advantage of, and so quote unquote fake dreams, okay? I'm hearing pipe dreams, okay? They see her as someone, you guys, that is, naive and gullible, where, she can be sold a bill of good, fake promises, because, she is perceived as someone who, has her head in the clouds, okay? And this whole, having your heads in the clouds, being a dreamer, too lofty, who do you think you are? I'm hearing from Spirit that these are some things that Chrisean Rocks has been told a lot by even family members and so-called friends when she was growing up, okay? That, girl, you got your head in the clouds, okay? You're doing too much, calm down, DTM, you're doing the most, okay? Yeah, she's heard this a lot, okay? Now, Spirit says that Chrisean will always have to use mental and spiritual discernment to determine the agenda of others as it concerns her, okay? In other words, seeing people, seeing things for who they are and not as you want them to be, okay? And this is also outlined in her date of birth, which is again March 14th. The 4 plus the 1 equals 5. And again, as I said earlier, the 5 representing conflict, okay? Now, this conflict surrounds her stability, her security, particularly within her career, and also conflict within her home and family, okay? Now, in terms of family, this conflict surrounds both her family that she was born into, and also the family spirit says that she will attempt to create on her own through marriage and or commitment. That will be something that she will always have to contend with, okay? Conflict in the home, conflict in the family, okay? This is part of her life lesson. She has to pass these tests as she expects to ascend, okay? Also, dear ones, a message, a download that I got from Spirit is that another life obstacle that Chrisean will have to overcome is people constantly luring her into situations and relationships that are just filled with absolute conflict, chaos, and drama, okay? Now, in terms of the numerology aspect of Chrisean's birth date, the number 1 in the 14th birth date represents, her being out there on her own, the number 1 being alone, as an outcasted and made to be the black sheep by her family, okay? Again, the family representing the number 4, the 1 plus 4, okay? March 14th, 1 plus 4, okay? So in other words, despite coming from a very large family, okay, as we all know, all of those of you guys that is into her, watching her as a young lady and as a public figure, okay, you guys know that she comes from a large family, okay? And also, we know that Chrisean has battled with and will continue to battle with feeling alone and isolated, and most importantly, misunderstood, okay, by her birth family. And we're seeing this play out right before our eyes on, reality, the reality TV show that she was a part of, and also just within the social media, how she just has, it seems like rather than having the family support that she deserves and that she needs, is people in her family coming up against her to compete with her, okay? And Spirit says that this is for many reasons, but mainly it is because of family envy, okay? There's always that one out of a large family, there's that one that sticks out, is that one that bears the majority of the light bearer, if you will, in the family, okay? Michael Jackson was the light bearer in his family, and he had to contend with a lot within his family. Now, a lot of it he kept secret, but Spirit says, he wasn't all that close, and it wasn't all that hunky-dory and fa la la and all of this and all of that with his family members. It's just that a lot of the issues that was going on behind the scenes, Michael Jackson kept hidden. But there's always one whenever there's a large family, says Spirit, okay, where the family envy rears its ugly head in terms of why you and not me, okay? It was so for Michael Jackson. It is so for Chrisean Rock with her family, okay? Lots of family envy taking place, okay? And this is part of the setup, okay? This is part of the alienation. This is a part of the isolation. This is a part of, Chrisean Rock having to contend with, seeing things as, how she wants it to be rather than what it is, okay? Constantly trying to give family members that are stabbing her in the back chance after chance after chance, refusing to see that they're really envious of her, refusing to see that they really want to take her place. Okay, it's kind of like she's put in that type of double-edged sword situation. Okay, well, since you are in the spotlight, okay, we're going to benefit from it. You're going to pay our bills. You're going to do this. You're going to do that. Okay, but also at the same time, understand that, we really hate that it's you and we wish that it was us. So it's that, that type of contention where, Chrisean feels as though, where do I even stand with these people? Because when I need the support, it's not there. But, the only time they call is when they need something from me. Okay. So she's kind of like out there on a limb. And this is a very tricky and a very dangerous position to be in when you are in the industry, because you are surrounded already by a pack of wolves. Okay. So a spirit says that spiritually, many siblings, relatives, and even Chrisean's parents see her as the quote unquote as the one. Okay. In other words, they see her, they don't want to admit it, they don't want to see it. Yeah, but they see her as the generational curse breaker of drugs, alcohol, also incest and family molestation. These are some of the generational curses that plagues this particular family, many of which Chrisean Rock has dealt with or is continuing to battle with now as a part of her spiritual warfare and her fight to ascend. Okay. So it's like, she has these relatives, she has these siblings, surrounded by her. They recognize her as the one. She's the one with the light. She's the one that the spotlight is on. Okay. That, other members, other siblings, certain siblings, we'll get into that later maybe, but other siblings are constantly vying and jockeying for Chrisean's spot in the spotlight. Yeah. Y'all know who it is. Okay. And, they hate the fact that she's the one, but at the same time, they want to benefit from her being in the spotlight, but they're offended by her at the same time. Okay. So it's like they see her as the one that can carry the entire family on her back, this young lady all by herself, and, at the same time, bring them fame. Okay. From the fame that she has achieved and is continuing to achieve. They want the benefit, don't want to put no work in. I'm hearing, put me on. Okay. Yeah, they expected for her to work miracles for them, while at the same time, if she's in trouble, she can't even call on them, to come drop her off somewhere or pick her up somewhere, or if she's in trouble, if she's hungry, hell, they wouldn't even go to McDonald's to get her a goddamn cheeseburger. Come through, spirit. It's like the audacity. This is very unfortunate. This is what I'm seeing in the ethers. Okay. So it's like, although, they envy her, dear one, they also feel entitled to her wealth. Okay. Put me on. Okay. So part of her life lessons and learning is learning how to set strong boundaries with people in her romantic life, her business life, and especially in her family relationships. Because, those of us who are chosen, we know that, the enemy on the outside can't get to you unless the enemy on the inside, i.e. your house, has already sold you out and given you up to the enemy on the outside. Okay. So if you have a weak or non-strong foundation in the house, everybody on the outside of the house got access to you. Okay, that's how that works. Okay. So, we know you guys from, again, like I said, looking at social media. And for those of you guys who follow Chrisean Rock, you guys know that she has 11 siblings. Okay. She makes the 12th sibling altogether, of a very blended dynamic. I'm wondering though, if this has something to do with religion. Like, in other words, I didn't find any information in terms of like, is she a Jehovah's Witness, or is she a part of some type of religion where, they're all about literally be fruitful and multiply or something like that. Okay. But I didn't find any information on that. Okay. But nonetheless, she has 11 siblings. Okay. Spirit says that there is one particular older sibling, though, out of all of the siblings, that harbors a dangerous level of envy towards Chrisean and secretly wants to destiny swap with her or take her place in the spotlight as, I want to be the famous one in the family, not you. I deserve it, not you. We all know who that sibling is, okay? And I'm not going to say the name because, this is not about Chrisean Rock's sibling. This is about Chrisean, okay? But Spirit says that this is where the extreme competition and betrayal stems from, okay? And again, although I must say, you guys, again, for legal purposes, that the accusation of molestation is alleged, Spirit says that Chrisean is telling the truth, okay? I know that, okay? I'm sure a lot of you guys know that. Ain't nobody just gonna be trying to, be in the spotlight and tell horrific lies about that, which at the end is gonna turn around and bite them in the ass, because people gonna be side-eyeing them, okay? Of all the things you could think about to say in order to get attention, dare I say, you being molested as a child is not one of them, okay? Yeah. So Spirit says that there is definitely truth in that, okay? Spirit says that Chrisean is definitely telling the truth about what happened to her at the age of seven by this particular sibling, okay? Also, I picked up from a channel, you guys, that something else that is very interesting to me about Chrisean is that her life path number, okay, when you add up her birth date, the month that she was born, and the date that she was born, it equals a life path of number 1, okay? And the number 1, which carries some high vibration energy and low vibrational energy as well, okay? Well, high vibrationally, the number 1 for her life path number stands for leadership and achieving peace. This is ultimately what she is striving to get to, okay? To ascend to, okay? Number 1 representing leadership, achieving peace, success, and purpose, but more so alone by herself than with others, okay? In other words, okay, Spirit is saying that the more that Chrisean takes on business pursuits solo, by herself, with her being in charge and making the rules and creating the contracts, for example, rather than, collabing with other people and, signing their contracts, okay, which will, their contracts will, as we know, will ultimately place her at a disadvantage, okay? That's why the contracts are made, okay? It's never to benefit the artist. It's always to benefit, the person that, you're signing into, their company, their organization, their label, their network, their TV network, whatever the case may be, okay? Understand that when you're signing a contract now, it's never ultimately for your benefit, okay? And so Spirit is saying that ultimately these contracts that people push in front of her to sign this, sign that, okay, that the higher that she will go into her professional life, if she focuses on saying to herself and, walking it out in terms of her being the boss and her being the one that's not signing the contracts, but her being the one that's saying that I'm going to create the contract because I recognize that I'm the sauce. You want to get put on simply by being around me, okay? Spirit says Chrisean needs to recognize that she is the blueprint. She is the brand, okay? And so when you recognize that, you're going to navigate differently. You're not going to be in a room trying to get put on and having other people make decisions for you, shape your your how you are perceived in the media. You're not giving that power to other people because you recognize that you are the brand. You're creating your own persona, your own perception, your own public opinion of how people perceive you. And other people that want to be with you, they either gonna get on board or they can get left, okay? So Spirit says in terms of the number 1, come through Spirit, that, the sooner that Chrisean realizes that she's a sauce, she's the one that's coming with the it factor and coming with everything that everyone wants to partake of, that, she can begin to move differently and in a way that is more advantageous towards her than towards the people that's always trying to get a part of her. They want to get a piece of her, okay? Also, I'm hearing from Spirit, this is part of the download. Spirit says the same also applies to matters of the heart, okay? In other words, Chrisean should focus on her career. Again, we're looking at the life path number 1, okay? Focus on your career and then place your relationships for now, on the back burner, okay? Because these relationships will distract Chrisean from focusing on making money and providing her with the life that she wants for her son and for her future divine partner, okay? And then the last download that I received, you guys, is that, okay, although we know Chrisean to be, a public figure in the reality TV / social media genre, and rapper, someone who was born of, humble beginnings in West Baltimore, Maryland, Spirit says that Chrisean has the potential to do so much more, okay? And this is what he wants her to know, okay? That if she applies herself, okay, she could go into acting, and acting in terms of, small scale, from starring in indie films to elevating herself to cameo and even co-star appearances in well-known TV show series and future Hollywood drama, comedy, and biofilms, okay? So she has the potential to go very, very high. And the quicker that she sees it and realizes that and begins to navigate differently and accordingly, is the quicker that she will begin to live that out, okay? But she got to get rid of all of the hangers on, get rid of all of the people that just want to be put on, get rid of all of the people who are treacherous and envious of her, get rid of all of the people, that just want to get in to fit in, okay? And they don't care how they do it, but it'll be at her expense, okay? Also, Spirit says that Chrisean needs to know, again, that she is the brand, and that this is why everyone surrounds themselves around her, particularly a lot of males who are falling off in the industry. They all up around her, okay? You are a young lady surrounded by all of these male wolves. That is not wise. That is dangerous. You need to get from around those people. I'm hearing that sacred text, come out from among them and be ye separate, for what fellowship has righteousness with the wicked? Come through, Spirit. This is making your spiritual journey, your warfare for your soul, for your livelihood, for your destiny harder, because you're surrounded by wolves, okay? People that are willing to take you out, people who are willing to make a buck off of you, off of your name, off of your energy, and not give a damn about you, okay? So yeah, Spirit saying that, Spirit is saying that Chrisean needs to know that she is the brand, and that this is why everyone surrounds themselves around her, trying to make a buck, trying to clout chase, okay? This is why even people in her family, they don't mind trying to make her look bad, at her expense, as long as they can get a little paycheck or they can get a little bit of clout on social media, whatever the case may be at the end of the day, okay? They don't care, all about riding off of the coattails of her as a public figure at the same time. It's kind of like, I hate you, but I love what you can do for me. I really can't stand when your ass is around, because you invoke envy out of me, but at the same time, when I'm around your ass, I get some type of benefit because of who you are. So it's like this love, hate, envy, resentment type of energy that's following Chrisean wherever she goes. And it's particularly those that are close around her, surrounded by her. And a lot of them are unfortunately be the ones that she tries to get into a relationship with or a friendship with, and particularly family members. Okay, I'm hearing toxic, I'm hearing treacherous, okay? And once Chrisean realizes this, okay, Spirit says she can stop depending on other people to create opportunities for her. And, baby girl can start calling her own shots, okay? Come through, Spirit. She can start creating her own opportunities. And most importantly, she can begin to get rid of all of the parasites, all of the opportunists, and all of the toxic influences that surround her, okay? So that was some of the no steer ones from the channel downloads that I received about Chrisean Rock. Okay, so now we're going to get into the tarot reading. Okay, and the question that I asked Spirit, I believe I asked two questions, but it's kind of like one question that's combined into two. Okay, so the question that I asked Spirit to reveal to me through the cards, through the tarot cards, is Chrisean Rock in danger? And if so, by whom? Okay. Now, I immediately got the answer, yes, she is in danger, because that's the whole purpose of me doing this reading, okay? But now we're going to tap in a little bit more, you guys, and we're going to find out who she needs to watch out for, okay? Because, you know, there's a setup from the get up, okay? So she is definitely in danger, okay? So I pulled some cards here, you guys, no particular order, okay? But one of the cards we have here is the Page of Wands in reverse. The Page of Wands in reverse. We're going to get into the traits, the characteristics of the people that are surrounding her that she needs to be aware of, okay? The next card we have, you guys, is the Ghost in reverse. The Ghost card in reverse, okay? Next card we have, you guys, is the, what is this? Yeah, the Six of Wands in reverse. The Six of Wands in reverse, okay? For those of you guys who have been rocking with me for a while, you guys know that I don't read tarot by the book, okay? I'm a channeler. I am an intuitive reader. I look at all of the symbols, colors, and things of that nature, in addition to, you know, numbers on the card, but also mainly downloads that I receive from Spirit in the context of the reading, okay? But we have the Six of Wands in reverse, okay? That's what I call my victory card. So victory in reverse, okay? Next card we have, you guys, is abundance. Abundance, okay? Next card we have, you guys, is the Two of Cups. The Two of Cups, and I wanted to say reverse, okay? So there's definitely an energy that does not want Chrisean to be in a fulfilling, happy relationship or partnership or commitment, okay? And this could not only apply to a certain people around her. I'm also hearing like certain people around her, one in particular that wants to be her handler, but also the industry as a whole, okay? They don't want her to be in a loving relationship. They don't want her to be any type of dynamic that is high vibrational, because again, that is antithetical. That goes against the grain of what they want for her, okay? And then the last card we have, you guys, is frustration. Frustration, okay? So again, you guys, the question is Chrisean Rock in danger? And if so, by whom, okay? So the first message come through Spirit. The first message that I'm hearing from Spirit is that yes, she's in danger, because people see her pretty much as a meal ticket. They see her as someone that is very abundant, but as she continues to ascend, as she continues to begin to open up her eyes and see that the people that are around her really don't have her best interests at heart, as she's striving more and more for peace and less from being, you know, a part of people's chaos, a part of people's drama and trauma, which in the beginning, I'm hearing from Spirit, this was a part of her brand. This was a part of how she initially got put on, okay? There was some type of reality show that she started making, or that she was a part of with Blueface, okay? And you know, the whole reality TV theme of drama and chaos, you know, because sensationalism and drama sells. This is what got her put on, okay? For whatever reason, people love negativity. But, you know, Chrisean is yearning for something more. She wants to ascend. She wants to do better and be better. So they consider her to be rebellious, you know, like they need to control her lest she get out of control. And, you know, if you can't control what you consider, I'm hearing your merchandise, and you know, you have things that are going awry in terms of money that you expect to make off of your commodity, off of your merchandise, okay? You know, you have someone that is bucking against the grain, that becomes a problem. So Chrisean is very much so in danger because people around her, unfortunately, they see her as an object rather than as a person, rather than as an individual, okay, rather than as a human being. They see her as a means to an end, okay? And so she's very much so in danger because, you know, if she does not comply, if she cannot be controlled, you know, I'm hearing worth more dead than alive, okay? So she's surrounded by some very dark and very diabolical individuals and in a very dark and diabolical system, as a public figure, as a creative, as an artist, okay, as a young lady, okay? Also, I'm hearing from Spirit that, you know, there are people that are, or a certain person in particular, they like to work behind the scenes. They are pretending to be someone that loves Chrisean Rocks, that cares for her. And the things that they say in her face is totally different from the things that they say behind her back, okay? This is someone that is very diabolical because they're very two-faced, and I'm hearing Jekyll and Hyde, okay? This particular person is very, very dangerous, okay? And Chrisean, definitely, honey, you need to be careful of this particular person, okay? This person operates behind the scenes, okay? They like throw stones and hide their hands, okay? They'll say, you know, baby, I love you, give me a hug, but you don't see that knife that they got behind their back ready to stab your ass, okay? Is what I'm seeing in the ethers and what I'm hearing from Spirit, okay? So also, someone doesn't want to let you go as a commodity, as a piece of merchandise, as a means to an end, as a meal ticket, because without you, everybody will know that they are a failure. Without you, they can't make no money. Don't you know, Spirit got me talking to you directly now, okay? Well, let's let it go, Spirit. Let's do it. Spirit says, Chrisean, dear one, that you know, you need to recognize that there is someone that is around you that they see you as someone where if you walk away, if you get away, they will be a failure because their whole name, their whole brand in one way or another is attached to your name. There are certain people that even when they say your name, they make money. When they say your name, they get views. When they say your name, they get opportunities. Oftentimes at your disadvantage, at your expense. And this is why you have a lot of people that hate your ass, but yet they want to be around you at the same time because they're literally getting money off of you. They're literally getting clout off of you. So there is one person in particular that don't want to let you go. Okay, they want to keep you on a string. Okay, I'm hearing that old school song. You la 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 la, you got me hanging on a string now. I'm not your plaything. Oh, come through, Spirit, old school. I don't know who did that, but I say that to say I channeled that tune because there is someone that they don't want to do right by you. First of all, they can't because they're so low vibrational. Okay, they're pretty much a meat suit for dark entities. I'm hearing MK Ultra. This person has been in prison. Baby girl, that's a clue. Yeah, you know who it is. Okay, but this person, dear one, they feel as though they can't let you get away because they will be seen as a failure without you because they have created so much of their identity, so much of their brand, so much of their clout off of you. And they don't care about how you're perceived, your image. In fact, they want to sully your image. They want to dirty up your persona because again, you know, sensationalism and toxic and negativity and drama makes headlines, gets more views, get more pings, get more, you know, attention in the spotlight. Okay, lights, camera, action. Someone just wants to see you and use you as a prop, girl, to continue to build their toxic brand in the social media / reality TV show industry. Is what I'm hearing from Spirit. Okay, I also just heard Zeus come through, Spirit. But I'm hearing from Spirit that someone wants to succeed while you fail, while at the same time using your name and using your brand to help them to succeed and to help you fail, because they're literally trying to sway the public opinion against you and to objectify you in such a way where, you know, everything negative and ugly will be believed about you, and as instead of, you know, who you are. You know, everyone goes through struggles, everyone goes through ups and downs, but it's very difficult when you're going through that in the spotlight. And then when you're going through it, when you're surrounded by wolves that you think love you, that you think are supposed to have your back, but they really don't. Okay. Another person, dear one, that you need to watch out for as you are in danger, because there is a setup from the get up. This person is very small in stature, okay? Definitely under 6 feet, okay? Between the height of like 5'4" to 5'9", somewhere in between there, okay? This person has like short man complex. This person is very immature. In their Peter Pan complex stage, does not want to grow up, you know? Could be 40 years old or over, but they act like they're still in high school, or they act like they're that wannabe jock as a freshman at a university, okay? Person is very, very immature. This person, dear one, you need to watch out for this person, because I'm hearing they're like a Pied Piper, okay? This person does drugs. This person also dabbles in, you know, the dark arts. And I'm hearing from spirit that this is the type of person, dear one, that they present themselves to be a friend, but they're really definitely a wolf in sheep's clothing. This is the type of person that will, you know, pretend as though, you know, they're your homeboy, have you in a room with a lot of different males, and, you know, give you drinks, and then, you know, next thing you know, you pass out with your ass in the air, and you on tape, and you doing things you never said you thought you would never do. You saying things you thought you would never say, and it's on camera as collateral to use against you, to blackmail you, to do their bidding for you, because they want to eat off of you. This person is very dangerous. This person could have introduced you to drugs. This person may consider, you know, you to be like a friend, and, you know, y'all just hanging out and kicking, and, you know, every now and then, you know, smoke this blunt, hit this, do that, take that line. You need to stay away from this person, because the more you trust this person and the more you allow this person around you, this person could set you up for an overdose. This person can set you up for some type of assault. This person can set you up for you to be trafficked. You know, all of the different scenarios that I'm seeing here is definitely not good, okay? This person is definitely diabolical. They smile a lot. You know, it's like I'm hearing Jekyll and Hyde. But they go from 0 to 100. They have 2 faces. But, you know, their mask slips from time to time. But then they'll overcompensate and say, oh, you know, my bad, I just had a bad day. Or, oh, my bad, you know, my baby mama did this. Or, you know, I'm having an issue with a sibling. Or, you know, the label did this or that. You know, blame it on everybody else. Will not take responsibility. That's this person. Chrisean, you need to be aware of this person, okay? Get them out of your life, okay? Yeah. This person is currently spiraling out of control, is what I'm hearing from spirit. And I'm also hearing from spirit, this person talks too much. You know, they're like a goddamn chihuahua that's always barking, okay? But I'm hearing from spirit, all bark, no bite, okay? This person is a punk, but they're surrounded by goons, okay? And they want to use that as a flex to pretend as though they're tougher than they really are, okay? That's this particular person. This person is also on the, what I'm hearing from spirit, that old school song, keep it on the down low, nobody has to know, come through spirit. I believe that's the Isleys, that's Ron Isley. Yeah, that's this type of person. You know, he got a lot of skeletons in his closet, girl. Yeah. He's dangerous. Beware. Okay. Also, dear one, I'm hearing from Spirit, there is someone who has serious anger issues. Okay, and they literally are frustrated as they look at you. They feel as though you're slipping away because you are finally seeing things for how they are, not as you want them to be, in terms of, the illusion of fame, the illusion of security and stability within the industry, the illusion of being happy, thinking that you would be able to do something that you want and make money and just, travel the world, or just, be an influencer and, help a lot of people and be surrounded by love as you love people. And then, you realize that, it's none of that. Okay. It's a lot of treachery. It's a lot of debauchery. It's a lot of people, it's like an illusion. It's like, people are not what they seem. It's like, as soon as the smile wear off and you look deeper, you see the fangs hanging out. You're surrounded by wolves, ravenous wolves, okay? Snakes, okay? And that, fame is not all that is cracked up to be, okay? And now as your eyes are continuing to open up, you got people that are very frustrated because, they're trying to fit you into their own mold, okay? They're trying to put you into a box that, you are growing out of, I'm hearing from Spirit, okay? This identity, this persona, okay? They want you to toe the line. Why are you trying to be different? Why are you trying to rebel? Okay. Again, this is like spiritual warfare. So there are people, dear one, that are very frustrated with you, and they feel as though, you're going off script. You're going, you're not towing the line, okay? You're not fulfilling your end of the bargain. You're not fulfilling your end of the contract. You're not doing what we're telling you to do. You're not playing this position, this role, this persona like we want you to play. And so when they cannot get you to conform, dear one, this is where it becomes dangerous, because they will set out to destroy you. If they cannot control you, they will try to destroy you. And I keep hearing worth more dead than alive. So now you got to stay away from people that pretend as though they're your friend, but they really are a saboteur, a secret saboteur, that friend where they always introduce you to something that, would really cause you to go, 3 steps forward or then 5 or 6 steps back. They will cause your life to take a trajectory down the wrong path, and then you have to circle back the long way because all of a sudden now you had to go to rehab to get yourself together. All of a sudden now you had to go to therapy because of this trauma that has happened when you trusted in the wrong person and you were surrounded by the wrong individuals. When you went to the wrong party, when you were invited to that party, honey, and you should have been tardy for the party, and better yet, you should not have shown up, okay? Because it was a setup from the get up, okay? Come through, Spirit. So in a nutshell, Chrisean supporters, my collective, those of you guys who are watching, okay? I'm hearing from Spirit that in a nutshell, yes, Chrisean Rock is in danger, and you need to really open up your eyes and see all of the different ways that you are being set up to be ritually sacrificed. You're being set up for, to be painted as this very awful person, this terrible mother, this disloyal, dishonest person. You cannot fulfill your contracts. You're shady. You can't be trusted. You're dishonest and this and that. They're all painting up this picture, trying to sway the public opinion against you, trying to spin this narrative so that when they come towards you to take you out, no one will believe you, and no one would even pity you, and no one would even feel sorry for you. They would feel as though you being unalive would be justified, okay? So this is something that I see happening now. This is something that you may know, you may feel already in your heart that is taking place, okay? And Spirit is saying that as you continue to isolate yourself away from these people, don't even try to find friends, lovers, confidants within the industry, because they're all wolves, okay? You need to go outside of the industry, okay? meditate on spirit and allow spirit to lead you to the right people, the right influences to really, really set out to help you, not wanting anything in return, but to see you ascend, but to see you remove yourself from treacherous people, treacherous situations, diabolical contracts, people with negative agendas and intentions towards you, people that just want to use you, people that envy you, because envy is dangerous. Okay, when people show you who they are, believe them. Okay, that don't mean nothing when they say, "Oh, I didn't mean it, I'm sorry." You already said it, bitch. So evidently you meant it. Okay, yeah. A drunk tongue speaks a sober mind. Okay, you said it. You may have been drunk, but it was on your heart for it to come out. You might have been under the influence, but you said what you said. You did what you did. There ain't no coming back from that. You meant to do that. Okay, you just got that liquid courage, or you just got that that extra to do what you did or say what you said. You meant it. When people show you who they are, believe them the first time, because you cannot afford to continue to give people chance after chance when they are taking chances on your life, is what I'm hearing from spirit. Okay, so yes, Chrisean Rocks is her life is definitely in danger. She is definitely surrounded by a pack of wolves. Okay, she definitely needs to watch out for people that are presenting themselves to be fake friends. Okay, friends, but they're really fake. Okay, presenting themselves to want to be in a relationship with her, but this is just to use her, to put her in a position. Someone has been assigned to you to be your handler, and they come at you in the form of love, but it's fake love. It ain't, matter of fact, love ain't got nothing to do with it. It's about control. It's about possession. Okay, this is someone that has played a dual role of trying to be your manager, or trying to be someone that was a business partner, or someone that collabed with you, but at the same time they want to have some type of legal paperwork over you, but also be your lover at the same time. This person is diabolical. This person is diabolical, and their mammy is diabolical as well. Okay, they do not have your best interests at heart. Okay, so you definitely need to get from around these people. They're very dangerous. Okay, maybe go on a hiatus from social media. Okay, and just rework some things in terms of recognizing that you are the brand, not these people. Every time they say your name, they get money, they get views. You're the brand. So elevate yourself and surround yourself with people that really genuinely have an interest in you and want to see you win. Win-win situation. Not, I'm going to win off of you, bitch, I'm going to use you. Nah. You need to be around people that, you want to get it, they want to get it too, and they are willing to work with you and not against you in order to get it. Okay? Yeah, you're surrounded by too many quote unquote crabs in the barrel. And this puts you in a very a dangerous situation. Okay? Because they definitely see you as a meal ticket. You are abundant. Okay? They'll come at you from every angle. But they don't want to see you win. They don't. They want you to fail, okay? They want you to have a downfall, because in your downfall, i.e. in your being ritually sacrificed, that's going to cause these people who played a role in it to come up off of you, off of your energy, your name, your brand, your essence. They'll still be talking about you, still making money off of you, while you're on the other side, transitioned out of your body. Okay? So you have to move very strategically, dear one. You have to move very wisely. Okay? Is what I'm hearing from spirit. All right? So that is that for the channeled message / tarot reading on Chrisean Rock. Okay, a little bit about her life, a little bit about some of the challenges that she is facing with the spiritual warfare that she is currently enduring as she is striving to ascend, as she's striving to have a better life for herself and for her family, her future family, for her child, and for her future divine partner that she greatly desires and that she deserves to have. Okay, as she navigates around this very treacherous industry that she's in, surrounded by a pack of wolves. Everybody want to eat off of her. Nobody wants to help her. Recognizing that she is in a very vulnerable position as a young lady that really doesn't have a lot of family support. Now, just because you come from a big family, that don't mean that, you know, you are receiving love and emotional support from that family. And in Chrisean Rocks' case, it is just the opposite. She is surrounded by family, but she's not loved by family. That's a difference. She's envied by family, and this family feels very entitled to her wealth, her fame, her clout, her persona, and they are just as well, they just as satisfied as getting money, getting clout off of her demise, getting money, getting clout off of her, you know, being thrown to the wolves in social media and having her character and reputation tarnished. Talking about she a bad mother and she a bad this and she a bad that. Well, if you are the oldest, or if you are a parent or a grandparent or this or that, or you're older than her and she's such a bad person, well, where the fuck did she get it from? Who did she learn it from then? Because ultimately you were the example. Okay, she ain't just come out of the womb being the way that she is. Okay, she is a very vulnerable young lady trying to make a way for herself. Okay, navigating through the industry that she chose to be in, with little to no love, no help, no support, surrounded by a pack of wolves, and people know that, and they are taking advantage of that from every end, from every angle. It's very diabolical. Okay, and so hopefully, Chrisean, you will see this reading. Okay, and continue to pray, continue to meditate, continue to guard your peace. Make your peace your number one priority. Peace over contracts, peace over money. And begin to see yourself as a brand, because then you can begin to make power moves that will secure you and also keep you protected and keep you safe. Because the current people you're around, this riffraff here, they need to go. They're dangerous. They're treacherous. And unfortunately, a lot of this riffraff would be some of your blood relatives, some of your siblings, full biological siblings, and some of them your half siblings. You know who they are, says Spirit. You know. Okay, even though you know you're ruled under the Neptunian energy of Pisces, you know, fantasy, illusion, very lofty, very idealistic. Spirit says, you see what's going on. Now you need to move accordingly, says Spirit. You see it. Now you can't unsee it. You can't stick your head in the sand and pretend as though you didn't see what you saw and you didn't hear what you heard. Yes, you did. Now, govern yourself accordingly, because your life is at risk if you don't, is what I'm hearing from Spirit. Okay? Some of these people, Chrisean, that you need to be aware of, baby girl, if you know their signs, yeah. Pisces, Aries, Leo, Gemini, Capricorn, Sagittarius, Virgo, and Taurus. Heavy Taurus. I keep hearing heavy Taurus. Also, Leo rising, Sagittarius moon, Scorpio rising, Scorpio moon, Gemini rising, Aries rising, and Gemini moon. if I didn't say so already. Okay? I'm not going to get into no names because, I could pull them out for sure. But, like I said, my disclaimer, this is for entertainment purposes only. I'm just a witch talking my shit. Okay? All right. So you guys, that is today's reading. Thank you guys once again for participating by watching my video. And make sure you guys continue to turn on your notifications, your noties, aka, so you guys will know when I have another video that will be coming out for you. Okay, we're using tarot to empower, to enlighten, and to expose darkness, okay, for my collective. And as I said before, I tap into a lot of different energies, you guys, from Tom the CEO all the way down to Papa the janitor and everyone in between. That also includes those who are in the spotlight, whether you're well known or whether you're not so well known. Okay, that is a part of my collective energy. Okay, so this is the first celebrity reading on my main channel on the A side, and we'll see how this is received. If it is well received, then I will begin a series, okay? And as Spirit begins to whisper to me which particular public figures who are in the spotlight that needs a message outside of, the regular, let's dig into their love life, their sex life, they this, they that, whatever. But really like messages that they need to hear that are like public service announcements that are like warning, warning, pay attention. Because you're not going to hear this from a lot of people, and you're definitely not going to hear from those that are in your camp, because they are not for you, okay? They want to handle you. They don't want to help you, all right? So we'll see how it goes, okay? But that's that, you guys. So again, Chrisean Rocks, stay safe, okay? And I hope this reading gets out to you, all right? All right, so until next time, you guys, stay beautiful, stay blessed, stay great. Peace.